questions like I normally do. My goodness. Actually, I think I'll just wait 20 seconds. I know. Sorry, Jim. Okay, we'll just make it 30. So, I wanted to share with you guys about the update to the crypto situation. So, this is what happened. 2017, 2018 or so, what I did was I wrote one of my exes a check for $2,000. And the reason being is that crypto, Bitcoin, Ethereum was surging at the time. And I thought to myself, hey, I want to get into this, but I don't know how to make an account. I don't want to make an account in cryptocurrency. So because I had dated him for quite some time before this, I think we were dating for about a year, close to a year at the time. And he seemed like, it was like, oh, okay, yeah, he's not going to screw me over or anything like that. I wrote him a check and I specifically wrote investment on there. And I know he cashed it because when I was through my bank account, I saw that it was specific cashed. He bought the crypto. I don't know what he bought exactly, but I remember he was telling me, oh, yeah, I bought crypto, or he bought Ethereum for it. And he was buying it from his friend too. And he had everything in a Ledger Nano S. I believe that's the name of it. I asked him, hey, do you have the passcode, or do you have the, make sure you write down that stuff. I don't want you to lose it. He tells me, yeah, don't worry about it. I won't lose it. He keeps it inside of a drawer, a specific drawer. And that was that. So I didn't really think about too much about my investment, but I asked him a few times, and this is when we were dating. I asked him, oh, hey, can you tell me what the balance is of the cryptocurrency that you bought? And he never answered me. He never said, oh, or oh, hey, I think it was about this or anything like that. But because I had such blind trust, I didn't think anything of it. He was making significantly more than me, so I thought, oh, okay, maybe he's just busy. He's not going to screw me over at this point. And what I found out is well, what I found out today was that actually, hold up, back. So yeah, he never gave me a concrete answer about how much crypto he bought. But he cashed a check. He never told me things or something along the lines of, oh, I only bought partial, oh, I didn't buy the whole thing. So time passed on. I still remained friendly with him and things like that. It's like I kind of forgot about it, the cryptocurrency. I thought, okay, I don't have anything to worry about, because when I think about my other ex that I talked to, like, we're on good friendly terms, 100%. And it's like I would never expect someone to just, possibly hide things from me or take my money or things like that. It's like I wouldn't, it's like I wouldn't expect that at all. So come like I think it was like 2 weeks ago or so, I was encouraged by some of you guys in chat. Hey, ask for the cryptocurrency back. And I said, oh yeah, okay, you know what, I'll ask for it back, or I'll ask for an update about it. So I ask, and then I get a, oh yeah, I was gonna throw, I saw the device and I was gonna throw it away because I was cleaning my room. And I'm thinking to myself, like, oh, okay. And then there's no reply about how much money is on there or anything. It was just, oh yeah, I found it a few weeks ago, Erica, and I was gonna throw it away because I was cleaning my room. Like, what kind of answer is that, right? So I take, I update you guys and I let you guys know, oh yeah, well, he says he has it. And when he tells me he didn't throw it away, I assume to myself, okay, he has the password. And then yesterday, Bitcoin hit 47K or something like that. And I think to myself, okay, this is really really ask about it because you guys know I'm looking through my stocks. I'm already looking at what the returns is. I want to have a concrete number about what I have exactly. The $2,000, if it was fully invested, would be about $10,000. No, about yeah, close to $10,000, right? Because it was purchased around when it was Bitcoin was around 10K. So so um so I think about it that way. I'm like, okay, 10K worth or so, maybe 7K, who knows? Or that's assuming the full thing was the full thing was invested. So I contact him and I asked him, straight up, how much Bitcoin, how much Ethereum did you purchase with the check that I cut you? And he tells me, he says, I don't remember getting a check from you, Erica, for this for cryptocurrency. And I'm shocked. And then he tells me he looked at a site, I guess it's not Coinbase, but it's a trading platform you buy crypto. And he told me that he only purchased like $600 worth. And that was the end of the message. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, I understand you're telling me one platform that you use, but I know that he also allegedly said that he purchased from his friend and he also used like another website as well. So that doesn't answer my question, right? Because he knows but I know he has that Ledger S Nano. So I'm not concerned about how much he bought from a specific platform. I'm concerned about how much is on the Ledger Nano S. No reply. Then I'm talking to Lewis, and Lewis is telling me, he's like, Erica, you probably got scammed. And I'm like, how can a person like that scam me over this kind of stuff? And then I just rant off some things to Lewis, and I tell him, if he wants, what he could do is he could tell me he lost the password. That would be really convenient because I know he has the device. He knows I have the device. He knows that he has a device. Or yeah, that would be the most convenient way to wiggle yourself out of it. So when I mention, did you look at the Ledger Nano S? He replies to me, says, "Is please tell me I told you what the pin code is because I don't remember the pin word." And my heart just drops, you guys, because now I know, and you guys can definitely tell me if I'm looking too into things, and I accept it. But the reason why I'm mentioning this to you guys is I want you guys to learn something from this. In the event that you make any investments with someone, make sure you have that thing in hand because maybe, or maybe maybe they just don't want to hand it over to you. I don't know. But the $2,000, when I gave that money, it was a lot of money to me. This was back in 2017. I think I was I think I was either I think around that time I had a part-time job, so I didn't have that much money in my bank account, and I don't write a check to someone just just blindly, right? It's like I had so much trust. And now it's like the $2,000, it's like, I will make that back. I'm not worried about that. Because, I'm holding long, really. It just saddens me a lot. And this is the key words. I know some of you guys will say, Erica, give the benefit of the doubt. Maybe it'll come through and everything. But there's a lot of bricks here. And these are the red flags. First of all, I have to chase after my own money. If I have to chase after my own money. And then second of all, there was no upfront. Even when we were dating, there was no upfront. Yeah, I'll let you know exactly what the amount is when I get home. Because I would think that when it comes down to something like money, if someone asked them for the total, be like, yeah, I'll check. Okay, here it is. But I never pressed on. There was not an immediacy. Tell me what the balance. I don't even know what the full balance is. The other thing too, um, I have to I have to follow up kind of thing, right? If I tell you, if someone told another person, hey, I wrote you a check for $2,000, And uh, and then the reply is, oh, you only purchased like $600 worth of cryptocurrency or Bitcoin back in, 2017 on one exchange. That does not answer what about the balance on a Ledger Nano S? Something that they confirmed that they had found about a week earlier or so. Other thing, I know, and maybe I'm misjudging here, but I know the Ledger Nano S was right next to right above a piece of paper that had the passcode and had the PIN number and things like that. I don't know what that is, but I do know specifically that it was written down and kept in a safe place. So if you tell me that you found the Ledger Nano S, I would assume that right next to it would be a piece of paper, and you would look at that piece of paper, and then before you throw it away, kind of think, huh, this is the password to it, right? You recognize what the ledger nano is, but you don't recognize a piece of paper next to it that is a passcode. Very, very suspicious to me. And I don't believe, people typically, they don't forget their investments at all. So I'm not understanding how you can just randomly throw away a piece of paper with the passcode, and then just not think about that kind of stuff. If you know what a Ledger Nano S is, you know that you have a passcode associated. You know that you wrote it down. And even if you forgot about having the Ledger Nano S, I would imagine that you remember writing the password somewhere, because that's something that's super important with that kind of stuff. It's just heartbreaking. It's just really heartbreaking. And what saddens me the most is not really so much the money, although that does play a factor, I'm not gonna lie. But I feel like I can't trust. And I've seen this before. You guys know that I told you guys, like, there's a person in my life that was a friend of mine for over 7 years. And I saw them become a different person when it became when it came to financial matters. So they were $20,000 in credit debt, and a sizable network of friends. These are people that they knew since high school. So their uncle saw how much stress that they were in, so the uncle offered to pay off the credit card debt completely, so that way they wouldn't have to pay interest. After they paid off the credit card debt, of course, the idea is, okay, you pay off the credit card debt. I paid off your credit card debt. Pay me back in installments. And the person did not want to pay back his uncle. In fact, I heard whispers from my other friends that they would mouth off saying things like, I need the money more than my uncle. And the same thing with the friends. The friends, they always tell their friends things like, I don't have any money to pay you back. And when the friends was their money back, and then one day, one of the friends saw the the guy, the guy that borrowed money from them, and the guy's girlfriend at a restaurant. So the friend who lent him money said, "Hey, I want my money back." And then the guy told him, "Oh yeah, I have sorry man, I have no money to give you. I only have $2 in my bank account." It's just because I can't help but think there's some parallels over here. There was no attempt about saying, "Hey, I lost the passcode," or if I can, like, I will pay you back like part of your money or something like that. It was just, okay, I don't really want to deal with you, Erica. That's the kind of vibe I get from it. And again, it tells me a lot about a person based on the character. I hope it's found, and if it's not found, but um yeah, it, it's the fact that I have to keep following up with my money. If you think about it, right? I asked about the cryptocurrency. They said, "Oh yeah, I had the ledger." Like, even when we were dating, there was no, there was no. I had asked about the balance, and I was never responded to about that. And then there was no and then like the ledger, not no, like, you lose the passcode to that it was right next to it. So yeah, maybe you could say that, but there's no, like, way to try and make it right. It's just like, oh yeah, sorry, Erica, I I don't even get a sorry right now. It just sounds like, oh, it is what it is kind of thing. And you guys could say, oh, well, Erica, maybe we're being harsh because maybe he's short on funds or something like that. You should just let it go. That's not the case actually, because I just heard about a few weeks ago saying like, I have more money than I've ever had in my life kind of thing. And so I can't even, it's not, the whole thing about like, some people would say, well, maybe he needs the money, a lot. No, that's not the case. It just, I don't like hearing of, I mean, like, I don't like hearing about these kind of things, but when it happens to me personally, this is the first time it's happened to me personally, because I do not rate people out money. Um, like this. It was just, I was young and I was dumb and I was trusting, and this is what happened as a result of this kind of thing. Yeah, so it is actually written out. So the check actually say investments on here now. There was no proof of what the investments was, but it's just like I'm not gonna say anything. I want to see if anything is said to me specifically, or if it's just gonna be ignore like it has been. And I get it, money can be a really touchy subject to certain people, but let's not forget, this is money that I gave, and this is money that I handed over, and this is money that I trusted would be either invested or returned back to me. Because yeah, so, and yeah, it's just like, yeah. The sad thing too is that when I look back at things, there were certain times it's like, yeah, when I look back at things, there were certain things that I kind of see as red flags now, and I wish I took it more seriously back then. So for instance, we went on a trip, and I had written out um about 1,000. I think I wrote about like $1,800 or something like that, for a trip. So I paid for my own airfare. I thought $800 was enough for food. And I paid for airfare. I paid for the hotel myself. And then I think I wrote a check for food. And I remember while we were on the trip, because we were in a foreign country, I said, you know what? I want you to be responsible for the actually no wait, I didn't write a check. I Yeah, I definitely know I paid for the hotel myself, and I definitely know I paid for my own airfare myself. So I remember when we were in the foreign country, I I specifically said, I don't want to deal with the foreign transaction fees. I don't want to I don't want to pull out money because it's like I don't know, I'm not familiar with that kind of stuff. I've never been to that foreign country before. So I said, I will pay for the hotel, but you pay for, and a lot of the times what we were eating is we were eating at like really cheap places. It's maybe like $30 a day or something. And the hotel we were staying at was kind of pricey. It was like a $2 night hotel or so. So what I remember is this. I remember that he didn't have enough allocated um, for spending. So he was pulling out one point. It's like he was pulling out money, and at some point, I didn't know this, but he was actually, like, I don't want to say overdraft, but it's something like that, because he didn't have enough money in his bank account, and I had no idea. And I remember we had a conversation, and it sounded like it was getting flipped to me, like I have enough money, and I know my spending very well. So it's like I was I had to put my foot down. I remember this specifically, and I said, "Look, I paid for the hotel myself. I paid for my own airfare myself, and you're telling me that I didn't give you enough money? Is that?" And I remember he was like quiet after that. And when it comes down to it, it's like I should have. I hate to say it this way, but I'm sharing this because of learning experience. I should have never. I thought that because someone was making more money than me, that they were in a financially much better situation than me, but that wasn't the case. Yeah, so this person was making 2 times the amount of money that I was making. When I was working full time, or let's say like 3 times the amount of money when I was making or working part time, and it's just it really made me think to myself when I think back about what this whole investment thing happened. You know how it kind of what happened. I should have said, I should have thought to myself, like, Erica, do you really want to trust a person like that with your money? So, yeah, it's like, you guys know how frugal I am. You guys know that it's not like I would be just like splurging the high life kind of thing. I know how much money was being spent, and I know that it was less than 100 days for my $100 a day for my own food. But because I was checking up on it, I was kind of writing things down, and I wanted to make sure it was within budget. And then I find out that the money that I thought like both of us were had enough money, but that wasn't the case. And yeah, it just saddens me a lot. Yeah, so just keep that in mind. And if any of you guys are in a relationship or something like that, uh, if one of you is not financially stable, or not financially stable, but not financially savvy, shall I say, and another person is, let's say, more spendy, right? Even if they're making more money, if you know that they're consistently way more spendy than you, that is really something that you should keep in mind. And if you are the more savvy one, and let's say you guys have a joint bank account, do know that that person can bleed you out, possibly, or make purchases, and you think everything's okay and things aren't, and it just yeah. So I was talking, yeah, when I was talking to Lewis about this, he said, well, Erica, that's why you're no longer with him. And I said, jeez, yeah. So yeah, it just like, I used to get so much, I used to get crap about my spending habits back when I was in that relationship. Personal note, because I was told, Erica, I think it's so sad that you save all this money for yourself and you don't spend it on yourself. You look at all this stuff that you want, but you don't buy it. It's because, like, I don't need another handbag. It's like, yeah, I see all these nice expensive designer handbags, but at the end of it, I don't need another handbag. I don't think it's bad to admire having a nice piece of to see a nice expensive handbag, but I have no desire to bring it home. You guys get what I'm saying? Like, if you go to an LV store and you walk in and you look at the price of it, and what I ended up doing, and this is something that I believed in. I took my money that I made, and I just set in the stock market, huge majority of it, because I thought, instead of spending money, instead of wasting it on consumer goods, I want to make my money grow. And that was a whole $2,000 check. It's like, I thought, well, if I put some money into an investment, my money will grow, and then one day it'll pay off. And it did pay off, but when it came time to get my, so yeah, it's sad. It's sad. But I can, I can, this is an important learning lesson for me. And please keep this thing in mind. In the event that you are in a similar situation, don't have a blind side, because I had a blind side and I was so trusting. It's like, I never like, um but I think money can change a lot of people. And I think sometimes when people have money involved, even though money is important, but it's not everything. Like, it's not worth screwing people over for money. Or and I've seen that, like I said, I've seen that several times, and I don't understand it. I don't understand that whole idea. It's like, yeah, You might think you came out ahead because you screwed someone over with someone, let's say $20,000. You're like, oh, look, I got a free $20,000. I don't have to pay my debt anymore because someone else is left holding the bag. So important. And I want to, I'm gonna share what happened with my closest friend because you know who this person is. Some of them have actually met this person. Actually, yeah, a good chunk of my friends have actually met this person, and yeah, and it's very surprising to me. Really, I can write it off as bad then. Okay, okay, I'll ask about it. Thank you so much, Jim. But yeah, I should have taken matters into my own hand. You know, I knew that, but it's just it's not a good feeling. It's not a good feeling. So now money's gone. I can say that there seems to be no remorse about what happened. There seems to be really it's just like I told you guys, it's like I feel like I'm inconveniencing a person just asking about the status of my own investment, my own money, and this is not how things should be at all. It shouldn't. But money can change people, and I'm very sad that like when I handed over the $2,000 and when the pin was, back then when assuming he lost the pin code or the passcode, right? It's like there was never any consideration to just give me that balance, and I had asked several times, and like I said, yeah. But I think sometimes people have this idea. They have this idea like, oh, if someone gives money or someone hands over money, then they must be living in the mega bucks, right? They must not need the money. So if people ask for the money back, it's like, what's the big deal? The person is probably like two pennies to them. But it's a flawed way of thinking because people work hard for their money, and people, when they lose money, it's like I don't like think my losses. And thankfully, when it came to my investments, I have some losses, but my gains have overshadowed my losses significantly, considerably. So for that, I'm thankful. But it's just when I think about actions, and when I think about all the little signs, it again, it tells me more about a person than it tells myself. And I will use that knowledge and just kind of keep that in mind. It's yeah, I'm never gonna write a check to another person again if I get that back, especially if it's an investment. 1,000%. I'm just gonna handle it myself. And my only blind side was that freaking cryptocurrency stuff. Um, but mm, yeah, so um, it just stings. Let me see. Hold on, you guys. No, I want to see what's gonna happen. I want to see what's gonna happen in the situation. If he tells me like he lost it and he can't get the passcode, but most likely I can pretty much speculate what's gonna happen. I'm gonna have to follow up with him. Like when he told me he lost the pin code, I asked him, "Did you look into see if you have the recovery phrase? Did you look on their website?" And you see, it's like just tell me, oh yeah, I found the Ledger Nano S, and like think that placates me. Or hey, I lost the pin code, tell me that you have it, that kind of stuff. But he never gave it to me. I never asked for it, gave for it to me. I assumed he kept it in a safe place. And yeah, just I I lack trust, and because I'm not seeing any way to make things right at all. It's just like I told you guys, like I have this sense like it is what it is. Now just go away, kind of thing. Don't ask about your money. That's the feeling that I'm getting from it, but I could be completely wrong. And in the event that I am wrong, yeah, in the event that I am wrong, then I will retract. But it just sucks. It just really sucks. Yeah, I knew. Yeah, so Manny Catton makes a really good point. So, based on what sort of personality has, the way they handle other people's property and possessions tells you what they are exactly. I think sometimes when people get money from other people, there might be this idea that it's free money, right? So they don't have to take it seriously because it's free money. They can do whatever they want. But it bothers me because in the event the investment wasn't made, right? In the event the $2,000 wasn't spent, and there was no desire to pay me back, whatever the difference was, right? Because like for me, if someone gave me $2,000, right, just putting it out there, and I would say, oh, okay, I bought you exactly this or this and this, you have $400 left. Like I would be really upfront about it. I wouldn't just be like very vague, like I bought you some, or like, oh, okay, I'll get you that, and then like kapoof, that's it. So I kind of see it as, and correct me if I'm wrong, but because I didn't have a running balance, because there was no updates about the balance when I asked for it, I kind of feel like my money was pocketed. Yeah. And I look back at it and I think, man, what a dummy I really was. I know my dad's gonna watch this video and he's gonna be like, see, I knew this. I knew this guy was not good for you here. But I'm also gonna say this to you guys. Um, I was at the point with that relationship, I was like I told you guys, like I didn't have too much money, and and I recognized it's like, yeah, I was, even though he was making, when I was part-time working, right, he was making 3 times more than me or so. I constantly felt like he had money problems, and I think like how ridiculous is that, right? It's like he would be spending all this money on all this stupid stuff, all this like he would spend like $500 a month on games, app purchases, those in-app purchases. And I would think to myself, like, yeah, you say you're raking in so much money, but you're spending all your money on all this frivolous stuff, and then you have the galls to criticize my spending over this when I'm more financially stable. And it just kind of stayed in the back of my head, and I thought maybe the spending was different or something like this. But sometimes I find that when people have certain financial habits in their brain, it's hard to break from it. And you can't it's really hard to change a person who is so spendy with their money, not be so spendy. So it's like, again, I can tell you this straight up. It wasn't like I at the end of it, in my opinion, and based on me numbers and everything like that. Um, yeah, it's it's shocking to me. It's shocking to me, but that experience really taught me a lot, and I it's like the whole history and the whole history of just blowing through money. I wish I could say that it was just him, but I realized looking back, has a history of this kind of stuff. It's like they would just they are not in a good place financially, and it's not because they don't make money, but it's because they just spend, and it's not healthy. So if you guys are making a lot of money, but you guys are also spending a lot of money, please know that you will be not in a good financial place if you're, let's say, if you're making $100,000 a year, right? But you're spending like $95,000 a year. Like it's like it's not it's not good. It's not good. How do I think some of the money get this money? Because it's because sometimes, people make money because they work hard. Other people, you have a select few people who are like the Eugene situation and they're total pieces of crap. I don't wish them well. But I look back at things and I see a lot of red signs as well. The other red sign is I know that they didn't think a lot of people and they didn't have a lot of close friends. And if they did have close friends, these were people that I personally thought were scumbags. People that, in my opinion, unstable mental issues, and they just like he would he hangs around with the person, for instance, that kind of scammed him, and he still hangs around a person like that. And I can't help but think, but maybe that person who scammed them kind of influenced them to scam people like me. And it's sickening because, like, I remember thinking to myself, like, man, this person is so, um, this person has a lot of friends, and then sounds like, uh, everything started crashing down, and now I'm making these lines, and maybe I'm just grasping for straws here, but if someone tells me that they lost a lot of friends they used to talk to, but they don't say the reason why, it's just randomly like they don't like me kind of thing. It's it kind of is telling because, like, I think about my friends and I don't talk to my friends all the time. There's some friends that's like I only talk to them once every couple months. But there's no, it's like I don't hate them and they don't hate me. It's not like they wake up it's not like they wake up out of the blue and they're like, "Man, I hate Erica," kind of thing. It's like there's no reason. So I thought, like, oh, maybe these people didn't like them because, well, I don't know, maybe they just changed. But in reality, what I failed to realize is maybe that person changed themselves and people are reacting to it. And I am pretty, now that I think about it, I'm pretty horrified because I know the crew, shall I say, that they were having when we were dating. And I didn't approve of a good number of those people because I thought these people think they're really smart and they think that, they can pull the wool over people's eyes. But I thought to myself, well, maybe my ex sees something in them that he admires. I don't know what the hell would it be. Maybe it's because I don't talk to these people very often, but it's like I hear things, and yeah, now I'm thinking about it, and I say sometimes if you hang around shit too much, and this is something one of my teachers at UH shared with the class, one of my business professors. They said, don't hang around shit too often because if you do, you're gonna start smelling like shit. And I recently saw a picture of them, hanging out with two of those people that I, it's like I said, one of those people being that scammer person who scammed them. And they basically sold MLM sort of thing to them, and took their money and then caused them to overdose on something, to the point that they had to go to the hospital. But like the recommended amount, let's say, is drinking 3 ounces of some sort of supplement. They told them, 3 ounces a week or something like that. And then they told them drink 6 ounces a day. And then they had a lot of complications, had to go to the hospital. And as far as I know, there wasn't um, any apology from that person who took their money and tried to push the MLM. If someone did that to me 100%, like I would I would not be happy about it. I would not associate with them. I would do everything I could to get my money in them. So, but they hang out with this person. How can you hang out with a person who sends you to the hospital, right? How could you? So, um, yeah, it's like, let me put it this way. I've known a number of people in my life, and when I think about people, I kind of think heavily, who are the people that you surround yourself with? And, are these people that I think is people that uplift you, support you? And I just didn't see that with the friends. And, yeah. So anyway, we'll see. Maybe they're gonna be like that scammer that they associate with now, and maybe they think they can pull the wool over my eyes. But um, it just saddens me a lot. It really just saddens me. Yeah. It saddens me that a person changed so much, and maybe I should have read between the lines when I heard about like their friends, their old time friends, like not wanting to do anything with them. So, yeah, um, but this is a learning lesson, and uh, I just, I'm gonna move forward, kind of thing. I'm gonna wait to see what happens with this thing. I don't expect anything to happen. I really don't. I think that um, it will just be silence. I think they will most likely ignore me and say, probably think to their head like, oh, I don't gotta pay Erica back. It's fine. It's fine. What can she do? She's 5,000 miles away anyway. Or bring up or do the thing that other person that I know did, and just justify in their head, think, oh well, I need the money more than Erica does. Um, and it's a flawed way of thinking. So if you take money from anybody, recognize that the person behind that money, it's not like the money just grows on a tree. And make it right with them. If you were in a bad situation before, and now you're no longer in a bad situation, allegedly no longer in a bad situation, you should try to make things right. But from my history of knowing people who did borrow and take money from other people, all those people that took money never paid back. Um, all those people, if it was over $1,000, it never got paid back. And it's sad, it's sad, but you know what the problem is, Jim? If I do something like that, it will. I don't know. I'm kind of hesitant about doing something like that because I don't want to drag this out even further. Say stuff like, it could get drawn out to be like, oh, well, I did give her the money back and I did give it to her, but she's just lying, right? And there's ways to get it. And I feel like if I focus on this too long, it would just cause me more stress because and then I'm gonna hear all this like I could hear all this like character assassination stuff, with things. I don't want to go back and forth between um, small claims court or a lawyer, kind of like, oh well, I did pay her back. Oh yeah, well she said I could keep it, and it's just like he said she said sort of thing, and it would just get ugly. And at the end of it, who knows? Maybe the only one that would benefit would be the lawyers, right? Or I would waste a lot of time in it, and then yeah, it would just not be fun. So people like that, people, people who do go to small claims over that kind of thing, especially if it's people who are pretty confident, they can keep the money. They will do everything they can to squirm out of it. Yeah. So yeah, but make it a learning lesson. I want to share that thing with you guys. And if there is any person out there who listens to it, I know my videos normally only get like 300 views or so, but if any of you guys hear this thing and you know someone who is in a similar situation, and with the cryptocurrency thing, right? You understand why I did it. It's like I didn't want to make a cryptocurrency account. I had to give my social security number. At that point, I was like, I don't even know a lot about these exchanges. Can I trust them? So yeah, I blindly did that, and then the cryptocurrency, freaking, I don't even know if all of it was bought, kind of thing, but I do know the cash is gone 100%. So yeah, if you write anybody a check for money and then you ask them to buy you cryptocurrency, what is them for them to say? Oh, okay. Well, yeah, I have the cryptocurrency. Oh, can you give it to me? Oh, yeah. Well, I'll talk to you later. Yeah, I'm busy right now, and then they could just pocket the money. It's very good, actually, very very short-sighted. Very short-sighted to take cash like that. Like, yeah, you might think you made out with possibly $2,000, but it it's sad because, like, yeah, it's just sad because it's like I lose a lot of trust in a person if they don't make it right. No, there was no promissory note. I just wrote a check that said for investments, and then um that's it. See, so the other thing that could be challenged in court, when I think about it that way, is like you can scrutinize what the investments is. You could say, well, maybe she wanted to invest in an all-you-can-eat Jello buffet or something like that. Maybe she wanted to invest in setting up a great YouTube channel, and yeah, she decided against it, and then she said I could keep the money as a gift. And yeah, there's all sorts of ways to squirm out of that kind of thing. So I don't think small claims court would really work because um, I think there's so much gray area about that, right? And yeah, so Lewis is a pretty good judge of character, and he just asserts, when he heard the whole story and he knows the whole background information. And he heard about me. He knew what those messages asking about the balances and things like that. Like he's telling me, Erica, you got scammed. You're never gonna get your money back. And I can say if he's right, but right now it looks like he's right. So Lewis has a lot of smarts when it comes to certain things, like seeing people's characters. But um, of course, of course that it's because you have knowledge, right? If you've been this person before, it's like you're more on guard than you were in the past. Yeah, I think crypto is gonna actually retract back down to the 30 something level. I don't think it's gonna maintain the 40s. That's just my thing. I think it's gonna go back to 30s, and then when it goes back to 30s, I will heavily think about just putting a small amount of money in crypto, very small amount, because in the event that it doubles, or who knows, maybe it gets to $1 million or something like that. You know what? I screwed up in the past, but I became a smarter person because of it. Yeah, MacBook right there. That is a MacBook, but money can change people. Money can have this effect on people where if they get money from people, it's like they they don't really feel an obligation to pay it back. Yeah. But I don't borrow money from people, in case you guys wonder. I have always paid for my own things. When it comes to yeah, I've always paid for my own things when it comes to like me being out with like friends, or unless they offer, then. But um I don't borrow money for people. I don't take in checks from other people either. Or if they, if it was like some sort of like investment kind of thing, like, no, there's no reason to give money at this point to another person for investment. You have TD Ameritrade, you have stock account, but yeah, it's like I would think that a person would just say, "Hey, this is the money that you gave, and this is your investment," and that kind of stuff. So yeah, yeah, lesson learned hard. Yes, 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 and so $2,000 isn't a pretty thing to think about, but it's a recoverable amount. Some people, I was a guy who was funding money for his like male, well, I would say, like, one of those women that they're from foreign countries, and then they find them online, and they they're high maintenance, like really high maintenance. There was this guy, listen to this. He married this woman. He was working two jobs, so it's not like he was like super loaded or anything like that. But he spent like $200,000 on her, and then he found out, they were always fighting about money because she wanted more and more money, it seems. So he goes to a divorce lawyer, and then she finds out. So what she does is that she starts alleging that the guy hit her, and then she starts claiming, and she trashes the place, and then he comes home, and he's like, what's going on, and she says, I'm gonna make you pay for trying to trying to get her. He wanted to get her deported, if I remember correctly. So what she did is that she runs out, goes in the elevator, and starts hitting herself. And because there's CCTV, they're able to, you can clearly see what she's doing. And then she runs out. He chases after her because he's worried. He doesn't know what she did. He doesn't know she hit herself. She calls the police, um, claims domestic abuse, and then afterwards intercept in. And then she says she wants to grab her stuff. So all the stuff, because she trashed the place, right? She already pre-planned the leaving. All her stuff, including his valuables, were stored in these suitcases, and she made out. So according to what the guy said, even though she made false allegations towards him, the police never charged her with anything. They just let her go, and they let him go when they found out that she falsified stuff. And I thought that was a really terrible thing to do. Yeah. So, yeah, just be on guard about certain people. And I don't want to say like be paranoid, but if anybody, like, if you end up with a person and they have like very spendy habits, or they're hiding things from you, or they're just like charging, like crazy, then make sure you protect yourself, and yeah, do the appropriate actions. Sometimes it's like I see people, it's like when some people are shopaholics or spendaholics, and then if a spouse puts their foot down about the spending, like, hey, you're gonna make us bankrupt if you keep charging the way you do, and then they take divisive action, and then they get a divorce. In my opinion, from what I see, the person who gets cut off tends to have a um, very agitated, pissed off, like, they're really mad about having their funds cut, or they're very mad about getting divorced. And instead of seeing the error in their ways, they energy vilifying the person who tried to protect their assets, or they do everything they can to try and make that person's life miserable. It's really crazy. Um, it's really crazy. So yeah, um, yeah, I don't really want social media or attention on that kind of like financial affairs, because you got to get both parties to agree to it, right? I mean, what kind of person would want to be on uh, TV? What was it, cable TV? I think it is cable TV, um, about a $2,000 thing. I mean, they have to be pretty confident they're gonna win, and I just don't see it happening. I just don't see them agreeing to it. I wouldn't agree to it if I was on that side. What do you have to gain from it? Like, everybody knows your name. Everybody can, you're in the thing where people can look up your Facebook, find out where you work, or that kind of stuff. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. It's just, but it is a $2,000 lesson, and sucks. Sucks. Let's see. Oh, yeah. So anyway, my stream is dying right now, so I will talk to you guys later. And yeah, I was hoping this was going to be a short video, but it's not a short video either. It's like a 56-minute video. But I'm gonna move forward. Just keep what I've said in mind, and if I get any new updates, I will let you guys know. But I'm not too hopeful about it. See ya.